前言.
Forward. What was the past for human being? What will be the limit point for mankind in the future? Will the intelligence of human be able to stop the asteroid's impact on Earth? If these questions cannot be answered, then we should turn ourselves to the greatest creator. Chapter 25 of Tao Te Ching begins with, "There was something formless yet complete. It existed before heaven and earth." The Bible makes its purpose clear from the very beginning. In the beginning, the God created the heaven and the earth. Here, God means the greatest creator. The Diamond Sutra says, "If one desires to see me via colors and seek me through sound, he is pursuing an evil course and cannot acquire enlightenment from Buddha, the greatest creator." Book of Odes Decade of One Wong. Great Brightness says, "This King One, watchfully and reverently, with entire intelligence served the greatest creator, and so secured the great blessing." In Chapter 8, The Origin and Fate of the Universe, of his book A Brief History of Time, the great scientist Stephen Hawking says, "The general theory of relativity on its own cannot explain these features or answer these questions because of its prediction that the universe started off with infinite density at the Big Bang singularity. At the singularity, general relativity and all other physical laws would break down. Science seems to have uncovered a set of laws that, within the limits set by the uncertainty principle, tell us how the universe will develop with time, if we know its state at any one time. These laws may have originally been decreed by God. Note, God is the same as the greatest creator. One possible answer is to say that the greatest creator chose the initial configuration of the universe for reasons that we cannot hope to understand. This would certainly have been within the power of an omnipotent being. It would be very difficult to explain why the universe should have begun in just this way, except as the act of the greatest creator who intended to create beings like us. Man has six sensory organs of eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body, and consciousness, which correspond to six perceptions of vision, hearing, olfaction, taste, touch, and telegnosis. Man communes with the material world and the non-material world via these six perceptions. If a person is blind and has no vision, then how can we convince him that there is light in the universe? How can we prove the existence of light? No, we cannot. For one is unable to perceive light without vision. If a person is deaf and has no hearing, then how can we convince him that there is sound in nature? How can we prove the existence of sound? No, we cannot. For one is unable to perceive sound without hearing. If a person is ignorant and has no telegnosis, then how can we convince him that the greatest creator is in the universe? How can we prove the existence of the greatest creator? We still cannot do that. For one is unable to perceive the greatest creator without telegnosis. Telegnosis is an innate instinct. With telegnosis, we can perceive the existence of the greatest creator. Everyone has telegnosis, but why we are unable to perceive the existence of the greatest creator? This is because the telegnosis is blocked and blunted in the same way as one suffering from falling of eyesight cannot discern the view in front of his eyes. If one's eyesight has dropped, one pair of glasses will enable him or her to see clearly. If one's telegnosis is blunted, he will be able to perceive the existence of the greatest creator by improving his wisdom. Someone wants to deny the existence of the greatest creator with a case of antinomy. Can the greatest creator create a rock that he cannot lift? This question puts us in a dilemma. If we say no, we have completely denied the greatest creator. If we say yes, it proves that the greatest creator cannot lift the rock he has created. The existence of the greatest creator is also negated by the statement that he cannot lift a rock. Whatever the answer is, the result is the negation of the greatest creator, or at least the negation of the omnipotence of the greatest creator. The man who creates this antinomy is very smart in that his minor question has perplexed the spiritual nature of many people, making them stay far away from the greatest creator and wisdom. This person is either Satan or someone disfavored by the greatest creator. He cannot taste the grapes, so he would try his best to prove that the grapes are sour and prevent others from eating the grapes. Can the greatest creator create a rock that he cannot lift? This question is a trap. The similar question may be, are you a thing? How would you answer this question? No matter the answer is yes or no, you will fall into the trap of the designer. It does not make any difference whether to say, I am not a thing, or I am a thing. Thus, we cannot present positive or negative answers directly to any antinomies. Instead, we should consider from the question itself, or lodge a rhetorical question. For example, the rhetorical question for, are you a thing, is to aim the question, are you a thing, directly at the person who asks this question. Let's see how he will answer this question himself. The rhetorical question for, can the greatest creator create a rock that he cannot lift? Is, can the greatest creator not lift a rock that he has created? The question, can the greatest creator create a rock that he cannot lift, is not tenable to the greatest creator himself. In the same way, the question, are you a thing, is not tenable to the man himself. In addition, this question itself is a double negation. Namely, whatever the answer is, the question itself has secured the negation. Many philosophers and logicians have been puzzled by such questions. Here are some more paradoxes. Let's see how you should answer. Are you not an animal born by your parents? Can eyes not see eyes? Is a man not a non-animal? Such questions cannot be answered directly, but with the changes of some conditions. The greatest creator-related question can be answered. The greatest creator can create rocks under any condition. The greatest creator can lift rocks under any condition. Any more questions? The questions can be done in this way if we keep on. I will begin by asking, what is lifting? Does lifting mean holding the rock in both hands and raising it over the head? If the answer is no, what is lifting? If the answer is yes, suppose this rock is the earth and I stand upside down with both hands touching the earth. Isn't the earth over my head? You may reject the interpretation. For the earth is not over my head, but under my head. Okay, what if I repeat the same action and move along the longitudes in 360 degrees? Then should there be a point on the earth over my head? If not, which point of the universe is over us? And which point is under us? At this point, you may argue although I am holding the earth with both hands, and although the earth is over my head, I am not holding the earth, rather it is the gravity from the earth that draws me. If this is the case, we should negate the meaning of lifting as we have first proposed. That is, holding the rock in both hands and raising it over the head cannot be regarded as lifting. Then what is lifting? No matter how you define the meaning of lifting, I can say I lift the earth as long as I change the direction. And if you say I lift the earth, I can prove that I am not lifting the earth. So, the question, can the greatest creator create a rock that he cannot lift, is tenable or not? We should pursue the greatest creator and get to know the greatest creator. Otherwise, we will not. I am 46 years old now. I have engaged in a wide variety of occupations: shepherd, peasant, migrant worker, secretary of Youth League branch, clerk, secretary of CPC branch, political instructor of art and cultural propaganda team of People's Commune, bench worker, electrician, automobile mechanic, middle school teacher, office clerk, office manager, interpreter, driver, salesman, grocery store manager, restaurant buyer, bartender, nightclub manager, manager of fast food department, property developer, and so on. The duration of my jobs all lasted for more than half a year with the exception of office manager and restaurant buyer, on which I stayed only for 2 months. months. What have I gained from working on so many jobs? What I have learned is, without a belief and an aim, life is just like the floating clouds drifting in the sky with wind. An inexplicit traffic accident I personally experienced several years ago has prompted me to explore the meaning of life. What on earth do I live for? For the sake of my country? Nonsense. I have problems even making a living for myself. How am I supposed to do anything for my country? Do I live for my parents? Absolutely not. Otherwise, why should I survive after their death? For my wife? Unlikely. She may enjoy a better life without me being around. Do I live for my children? Not necessarily. How can those childless parents carry on life then? After the children grow up and have families of their own, what do I live for? I can no longer provide them with any help. On the contrary, I may prove troubles and burdens for them. Do I live for myself? How absurd it is. I can neither decide my birth nor my death. If there is an option, I would rather choose not to be born and not to be a being at all. Then who brought me to this world? Is it because of the accidental union of my parents that I came into being? Definitely not. The universe is governed by laws. Everything has its causes and effects. Nothing exists purposelessly and accidentally. Everything exists for a particular purpose. Then what is the purpose of my existence? This obscure and confused way of living is beyond my endurance. I would rather die than to live without a clear understanding of myself and the world around. If I have no idea where I came from, then I should at least know where I am heading. Otherwise, it would be a great pity if someday I suddenly get killed in a traffic accident. Can I live a life with understanding if I am wealthy? It seems that there is no single millionaire in the world who has solved the problem of the purpose of living. By the time you have a lot of money, perhaps you don't have much energy and time left. You may have died before you know why you have lived. Besides, money does not come the way as you wish. Otherwise, anyone can be a billionaire. Having power will make one understand the meanings of life? I doubt. There have been many emperors and kings appeared on the stage of human history. Did they really understand the purpose of life? Was there any one of them left us with book on life? How about being a scientist? Great as Newton, Einstein, and Stephen Hawking are, they still wondered the origin of the universe, the origin of human being, and the origin of life. Would I be any better than them if I become a scientist? Moreover, just as I cannot become a singer because I am not born with the gift of a singer, I cannot be a scientist either. To be a scientist for me is something beyond my wildest dream. Will it be possible for me to understand the meaning of life if I seek to become some kind of expert? I am afraid not. Let's take archaeologists and anthropologists, for example. One day they would say that mankind originated from Europe, another day that mankind originated from Asia, still another day they would claim that mankind's ancestor lived in Africa. To affirm the place of origin of mankind simply by a few pieces of fossils is far from reliable. It is likely to say that we would be originated from the Antarctica if some more human fossils are excavated from somewhere someday. How about reading the Bible? Can it be a way to understand the meanings of life? Maybe I was born foolish. I have read the Bible for years, yet I have not been enlightened so far. Where is the kingdom of the greatest creator? It has been there already, or it will emerge in the future. Where would it be if it will emerge in the future? By future, do we mean a millennium, 10 millennia, or 100 million years? My life only spans scores of years. Is there such a thing as the resurrection of flesh and body? How can resurrection be realized? There is no doubt that Jesus is a God. The problem is whether there are any other gods that above Jesus? Why would Jesus undergo suffering if he is free from the control of other gods? Why almost all his disciples died an unnatural death? Is it possible for a God to lose control of his own fate? As a God, why couldn't he protect even his own disciples? Why should they suffer for the blessing of other worldly life? So I rely on Buddhism to guide me. Buddhism preaches the previous life and the eternity, lifetime after lifetime, retributive justice and karma. This makes sense. But how on earth does karma transform? How should a person behave to acquire eternity? Where is the Pure Land? And what does it look like? I have only read a few of the great many Buddhist sutras, so it is not for me to jump to a hasty conclusion. Since Buddhism has existed for more than 2,000 years, it should be able to interpret the meaning of life but it failed as well. If life is but a process of suffering, why does the greatest creator create so many wonderful things for people to enjoy? If the purpose of life is to attain Buddhahood, then what is Buddhahood? How can we attain Buddhahood? What is the probability of attaining Buddhahood? If only 2 to 3 out of the 1,000 people who practice Buddhism succeed, then the rest would feel quite unwillingly to sacrifice the worldly pleasure. Money, power and status, and scientists and other experts, Christianity and Buddhism. Each may have its own arguments, but none of them can explain clearly the meaning of life. And for us mortals, we even have a hard time scraping up for daily existence. How can we have time to pore over the learning of sociology, natural science, and religion? Is there a shortcut? Is it possible for us to seek the greatest creator directly, bypassing gods, Buddha, and the knowledge accumulated by mankind? Because only the greatest creator knows all, and only the greatest creator has the ultimate power of decision. Where can we find the greatest creator? Read Wordless book, Read Heaven, Read World, Read People, Read Things. Luckily, I have undertaken more than 20 different jobs and have experienced many hardships of life. In addition, after graduation from senior middle school, I went further study for another 3 times. And I have stayed in the countryside, in small towns, and big cities. As a result, I can string up different phenomena and events for chain reflection. Nevertheless, I am still confused. So what could be the obstacle? I was greatly enlightened when I incidentally browsed the Quran, which says,